Hell is Us hits the PlayStation Plus game catalog today, and I am here to help you decide if it's worth the free download and if it's worth playing. I mean, a $60 game that you're getting free with your subscription? Why wouldn't you? OG loves free. I'm OG, and I played Hell is Us for the very first time. I'm reviewing and rating my experience to help you answer those very questions. Let's go.
I would have tortured you, but my employers insist I use their concoction.
So you play as Remy, and you're returning to Hedaya, the country where you were born, looking for your parents. But Hedaya is in the middle of a civil war, and on top of that, this supernatural event called the Calamity has brought these strange creatures called Holowalkers into the world. And as you make your way through Hedaya, you're basically uncovering pieces of what happened to the country, what happened to your family, and what the hell is actually going on. And Hell is Us doesn't exactly hand you those answers. You're finding bits and pieces of information as you go and trying to put it all together yourself. So I get what they were going for. The confusion's supposed to add to the mystery, make it feel more realistic, and hopefully make you more invested as you start putting things together. But it just didn't work for me. I mean, the story wasn't bad, but it just never hooked me enough to make me really care about what happened next. And this is a slow game. If a game's gonna move this slowly, that story better really grab me and make me give a shit. I played for about 2 hours, and I know I probably should have made it farther than I did, but I did solve some puzzles, killed some creatures. I thought I was making progress, but it never really felt like I was into the actual game yet. Then I got to the APC, started driving, and the opening credits rolled. Wait, what the fuck? Did I just spend 2 hours playing the fucking intro? To me, the story felt very mid at best. I'm rating the story of Hell is Us 3 out of 5 stars. So one of the things that I noticed Hell is Us does differently than a lot of games is there weren't any traditional waypoints constantly telling you exactly where to go. And you know what? I didn't really have a problem with that. The conversations gave me pretty clear directions, and I always felt like I knew where I was going and what I was supposed to be doing next. I even ran into a couple puzzles. Both were pretty much finding clues in the environment that gave me what I needed to open a door. Not exactly rocket science. They were pretty easy, but I have no doubt that the puzzles get harder as the game goes on. For one of those puzzles, I had to use my drone to scan some clues on the wall, which brings me to the drone. The drone was actually pretty cool, and it tied into the storyline nicely. It also basically doubled as my flashlight, so I wasn't constantly pulling out a traditional flashlight every time shit got dark. And there was a lot of dark shit in this game. The drone also has a distract ability, which you can use during combat, and trust me, we will be getting to combat. The drone can be upgraded as you go, and the same goes for your weapons. I did find an axe to go along with the sword that I started with, but I didn't get far enough to really dig into the upgrade system, but the progression is definitely there. You access your inventory management through your data pad, and everything was very well organized and easy to find. Items, weapons, investigation clues, everything I needed was right there. Now where the design did start to lose me was all the supernatural shit. And supernatural and horror is my jam. I'm finding stuff like this, a limbic capacitor. Okay, that's easy enough to find in my datapad. Let me read the description and see what it does. Absorbs and stores ambient limbic energy. Okay, so what the fuck does it do? Limbic energy, haze, auras, there's all this shit going on. I have no idea what these words mean, definitely didn't understand the concepts, and I just didn't care enough to figure out what half of it meant. If you've ever played Hell is Us, please tell me what the hell I'm missing here. Am I just slow? Exploration was the same kind of thing. I looked around because I didn't want to miss anything, not because anything was really interesting, but I was mostly just moving towards my next objective. Nothing really made me say, I gotta go see what's over there. Again, it wasn't bad, it was okay. You see the theme here? Game design gets 3 out of 5 stars. So you know that whole okay theme that I just mentioned? Throw it out the fucking window, because the combat ruined this game for me. And to be honest, it ruined any positives that Hell Is Us had going for it. It took me from not really caring what came next to wanting to turn the damn game off. And here's the crazy part. I didn't even run into that much combat, but what I did experience was enough to make me dread the next fight. And not just because I obviously suck at it either. Let's start with the Hollow Walkers. Do you remember that creepy ass head jitter effect from Jacob's Ladder? Guess what? That shit worked in Jacob's Ladder? It didn't work here. It just made the combat feel glitchy and stuttery. There was no flow to fighting these things. My quick attack felt delayed, and let's talk about the charge attack. I'm holding the button, waiting for this thing to charge, and by the time I finally unleash it, I'm attacking air because the enemy isn't there anymore, or I moved Remy, and now I'm attacking the air in the opposite direction. Just to say something nice here, blocking and dodging were better. They didn't feel nearly as bad as the attacks. But combine those jerky creature movements with my attacks feeling so delayed, combat just felt awful. And then there's the fucking haze. Stay with me here and try to follow along in your textbooks. Some Hollow Walkers are connected to a haze, so I can't actually kill the Hollow Walker until I kill the haze. But the Hollow Walker can still attack me while I'm trying to kill the haze. So I can use my drone to distract the Hollow Walker while I attack the haze. Or I can attack the Hollow Walker that I can't kill to stagger it so I can go attack the haze. Then kill the haze, then go back and kill the Hollow Walker. Got it? Good. Because while you're doing all that, don't forget your stamina. Don't forget your limbic energy. Don't forget to block. Don't forget to dodge. Oh, and don't forget the healing pulse. Because apparently, while I'm doing all of this, I'm also supposed to watch for the right moment after attacking and hit R1 so I can recover some of my health. How the fuck much am I supposed to remember while I'm fighting? And please don't tell me it's because I'm a button masher. We have established I'm not good at video games, but I tried the techniques. This was not a skill issue. This was, and it played like a steaming pile of dog shit with confused flies around it issue. There was no flow. The combat killed Hell Is Us for me. Based on the combat alone, I'd go negative stars if I could. But some of the other minor controls not mentioned salvaged half a star. So there you have it. Gameplay, half a fucking star. Alright, so that brings us to presentation, and I'm gonna finish out these ratings. But honestly, with gameplay getting a half a star because I hated combat that much, do these next ratings even matter? Supernatural and horror should be right up OG's alley. But Hell Is Us never felt scary or creepy to me. The cutscenes weren't memorable, and everything just looked gray and drab instead of atmospheric. Presentation gets 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that brings us to entertainment. Entertainment? I wasn't invested in the story, exploring didn't make me want to see what was around the next corner, and the combat made me want to turn the damn game off. Was I entertained? Not really. Entertainment gets a gift with 2 out of 5 stars. So where does that leave Hell Is Us for an overall rating? Believe it or not, there were things that I liked. Nothing outside of the combat was that terrible. Most of it was just okay. but combat is way too big a part of this game for me to overlook how much I hated it. Overall, Hell Is Us gets 1.5 out of 5 stars. So is it worth playing? Not for me. Should you download it just because it's free with PlayStation Plus? Nope. OG loves free, but this free isn't worth my time.
Anyways, those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. And of course, subscribing is always appreciated. Until next time, OG out.